Hi, everybody. I'm checking in with you. Today is November 1st, the Day of the Dead. So we're all here, thank goodness. Checking in with you here at a kind of a critical time. We're done with the unit 2, starting 3, but we're at midterm, well past midterm now. Another uh, second half here is going to be very similar to the first with a few exceptions. Um, So I wanted to comment on the good work you've been doing. And Unit 2 was awesome. On that test that you took, there were 31 students that took it, and there were 9 A's and 13 B's. So pretty darn good. Well done. Most of my students got above average grades on that. And I appreciate your hard work. I enjoyed grading the homework case and then especially the McDonald's hot coffee case and that discussion board that we put up. A lot of interesting things in that case, and you students enlightened me on a few things, so I appreciate that. I was glad to see everybody get into that, and most of you really did your work on that and got good grades, deservedly so. Um, my objective on that is not to convince you, who's at fault or who isn't. I think there's a good argument that can be made that both parties bear some responsibility in that accident. And then it becomes a question of degree and money and other things, injuries. So, good job on that case. Now, moving on, let's see, we're going to start Unit 3, which is Chapter 7, 8, and 10, and those are business torts. And on that 7 business torts chapter, by the way, I would concentrate, if I were you, on the product liability part of that. It starts a few pages into the chapter. That's where it really begins. And then the 8 is on real estate and contracts. So these will be what you're going to be doing. Um, you have, the due date on that is November 12th, coming up. And unit or exam 3 will be there along with quizzes on those 3 chapters. So, and by the way, I want to point out that this is going to wind down fast. As I said, uh, we have Thanksgiving coming in 3 weeks from tomorrow. And I know it's fast. And then after that short break for Thanksgiving, we come back. We only have 2 weeks of class left. Everything in chapter or unit 4 will be due December 10th. So plan accordingly. I have a couple things to say about unit 10, or unit 4, but let me finish up here with 3. Okay, so you got your 3 chapters. You read those chapters. You have your quizzes on those. You have a homework case. It's the last one. It's a contract case. Pretty interesting contract case too. It's the Jacobs and Young versus Kent case on page 275. It's number 9. It's a hard case to decide in some ways. It's not black and white on this case, so don't leap at it. First, take a look at a couple of things in your chapter before you approach that case. It's about a fellow who had a house built. It's an oldie but a goodie. It was back in 1929 or 20 or something like that. But it's whether the contract is breached by the contractor or not, and to what extent. So you'll see the case. Look at the material on pages 263 and 264 when you approach this. In particular, the contract principles of substantial performance and material breach of contract. Those two things kind of conflict, and that's the balance you have to draw. The court has to draw in approaching this case. So that's what I want you to look at. Okay. Now going on, fewer assignments. The good news is you've done more work in the first half, the first 2 units, than you'll have to do in the second 2. There's only one discussion board case, not discussion board, but homework case, the one I just discussed with you. There's not any more. So there is I'm not sure if I put the Apple case up or not. If I do, I'll check, and it's 10 points. It's a discussion board extra credit case in this class. I'm not sure I had it up, but if so, do it if you want. But there's less work to do now, but then the time winds down real quickly with the holidays. So just a heads up. Enjoying this class. Your students are doing well. I appreciate your diligence. So that's all for now. Okay, I'll check with you before Thanksgiving and say hello. So, okay, thanks everybody.